Hello again everybody, your host is Haytham Ali. I'm an aviation technical instructor. Today I will take you also to Safety First magazine by Airbus. This is the official website, Safety First Airbus, safetyfirst.airbus.com. This is the official website for the very important magazine issued by Airbus. This is for my fellow pilots and aircraft maintenance personnel. Here you can find a very important article to enhance safety. So if you go for the archive, there is a very old and very important article produced by Airbus. This one, tailpipe or engine fire. Airbus produced this article. So if you go for this article, Airbus produced this article, I think, in the year of 2005 or 2006 by Airbus to dedicate the difference between tailpipe and engine fire, because many pilots and many maintenance personnel during ground engine running, especially on ground, during ground engine running, they are mistakenly deal the tailpipe fire procedure with the engine fire procedure, and this is totally wrong. So in this article, Airbus tell you the difference between these two types of fire and tell you that the procedure are totally different. Their locations are totally different. For example, here is the procedure for the tailpipe fire for the Airbus family, like A300 single aisle family and wide body family. The procedure for tailpipe fire is to do a wet motoring or dry motoring or dry cranking. This is totally different from the engine fire procedure. As a conclusion, this procedure for tailpipe fire or backfire is totally different from engine fire, that you do isolations and fire extinguishing. So this article is a very important one. I need you to go through this article and read it and take this valuable information. Or you can go for my YouTube channel, Aviation Training Solutions. This is my formal YouTube channel, Aviation Training Solution, official YouTube channel, Aviation Training Solution. It is by me, Haytham Ali. If you go to my playlist, you will find a playlist I did design to pinpoint this article. So as you can find here, this short animated videos, I did design it to convert this article into a series of short animated videos. So in this lecture, I will take you to the first video I did do it to pinpoint the difference between engine and tailpipe fire, like a short animated video. So you as a pilot or maintenance personnel, you are in the cockpit now. You are in the cockpit for an engine run task or to start your engine for a flight as a pilot on ground. So you need to start the engine, ignition start, master lever on, and then after a while you have an engine on fire. So this is a very horrific situation, and maybe you as a pilot or maintenance personnel, you do go in panic, but you need to have control, and you need to think about this type of fire. So because it is a very horrific situation, you may go for a panic, or you may have control on the situation, or you may run. But for sure you need to have control about this situation. You have to have control and ask yourself if it is an engine or tailpipe fire. And you need to know that a fire affecting the engine should be dealt according to the, what do you think? A fire affecting the engine should be dealt according to the, according to what? According to the origin of the fire. According to the origin of the fire. This is the main difference between these two types of fire, origin of the fire. It is an internal one or an external one. The internal one is the tailpipe fire or backfire, but the external one is the nacelle fire. that do happen in the nacelle and the engine sensors and fire loops will bring to you the fire alarm in the cockpit. Okay, so a fire affecting the engine should be dealt according to the origin of the fire. And also you need to assure that a fire affecting an engine may be the result of different malfunctions. Different malfunctions can do engine fire, and other types of malfunctions can do tailpipe fire. Okay, so it is not the same sources that do have the two types of fire. So again, a fire affecting an engine may be the result of different malfunctions. Some malfunctions can result in an engine fire, and other malfunction can result into tailpipe fire. Like the engine fire, it is probably a leak in the nacelle, a fluid pipe like hydraulic, like fuel, like oil, leak in the sensitive and very high temperature area of the engine, and this flammable fluids do ignite and do make an engine fire or nacelle fire. But on the other hand, maybe if we have an excess of fuel in the combustion chamber, like after an unsuccessful attempt of engine start, this excess of fuel can result into a tailpipe fire or backfire. Okay, so let's go back to the difference between the two types of fire. So you need to ask yourself always if it is an engine fire or it is a tailpipe fire. Sorry, I need to go back for this. You need to ask yourself if it is an engine fire. It's an engine fire, an external fire. It's happened in the nacelle. But this is a core fire or backfire. This is why it's called backfire. Tailpipe fire is also called backfire because it's only a fire coming from the back of the engine, from the core of the engine. But the engine case and the nacelle is good. So they are totally different regarding location or regarding the origin of the fire. So let's go, continue. So Airbus do this article because statistics on the aircraft shows that pilots and engineer may tend to discharge the fire extinguisher bottles in case of a reported tailpipe fire. Fire bottles and fire extinguishers are only for engine fire. They are there for the nacelle fire or external fire or engine fire. But if you have backfire, these fire bottles will not do anything. You don't need to do the regular procedure for isolation from the engine fire push buttons and fire extinguishing by the fire bottles in the case of a reported of tailpipe fire. This is the mistake that do happen by pilot and the maintenance engineer. They tend to discharge the fire extinguisher bottles in case of a reported tailpipe fire. And this is totally wrong. Totally wrong. So let's continue. So, what is the difference between engine and tailpipe fire? As I told you before, location. An engine fire, also called an external fire, since it mainly affects the nacelle compartment. So the first difference is the location. An engine fire, also called an external fire, since it mainly affects the nacelle compartment. On the other hand, a tailpipe fire, also called an internal fire, since the fire is developing within the engine core. So the first difference between engine and tailpipe fire is the location. One is external and one is internal. Engine fire is an external and the tailpipe fire is an internal fire, because it is developed within the engine core from the combustion chamber and the fire is coming from the back of the engine. So, engine fire is an external fire and also called a nacelle fire. And here is the picture for a Trent 700 engine powering the Airbus A330, and you see the sea duct or cowls, reverser cowls is very affected by the engine fire or nacelle fire, because the fire is happening in the nacelle, and the nacelle is the area between the cowls and the engine case. So you see now the sea duct or thrust reverser cowls is permanently damaged like that from the external fire or engine fire. This is an engine fire. But on the other hand, the tailpipe fire is an internal fire or core fire. Fire coming from the core of the engine or from the back of the engine, from the internal or from the engine core. Okay? So this is the location. So since they are two different types of fire, therefore procedures is totally different. Procedure is totally different. You need to take care. This is applicable to all Airbus aircraft, whatever the engine and with or without the ECAM system. This is the first lecture I did design for the difference between engine and tailpipe fire. So this article, as I told you, I did convert it into a series of short videos, and you can find this on my YouTube channel from the playlist difference between engine and tailpipe fire. Thank you for your good listening, and always fly safely and maintain your aircraft very safely. And in the next lecture I will tell you more deeply what is an engine fire and what is the tailpipe fire. Thank you and goodbye, and don't forget to subscribe to my aviation training solutions on YouTube. Thank you and goodbye.